All rise. Ethel Meriwether will be proceeding over the case.
Bailiff, thank you. Please bring in the jurors. May the jurors rise, please, and raise your right hand and recite the oath. Do you swear or affirm that you will give careful attention to the proceedings, abide by the court's instructions, and render a verdict in accordance with the law and evidence presented to you? So help you God.
I do.
I do.
I do.
I do.
Thank you. You may be seated. We will start with opening states. Prosecution, you may start.
Your Honor, members of the jury, honored counsel, my name is Cooper Blackwood, Assistant District Attorney, and I will be representing the City of Portofino, the State of California, and the Office of the District Attorney, Madison Pinelli, in the matter of the State of California versus Damion Carter. The State, under Case 20,250,201-201, charges the defendant, Damion Carter, with 1 count of home invasion burglary, 1 count of common assault against Ms. Chaig. Your Honor, I would like to show a pattern of behavior, and I have some aligned evidence with Case 20,250,206-201, where Mr. Carter was detained some days later, and I request your leave to bring additional associated charges.
Your Honor, I would like to object here. This isn't sounding like an opening statement but a petition for an injunction.
Objection sustained. I asked for your opening statement, sir. Please keep to it.
By sworn statement, the victim and witness, Ms. Chaig, was asleep in her residence of 1406 Orange Blossom Trail. Her rest was broken by 2 men armed with knives in her house, who she challenged with a baseball bat, as permitted using non-lethal force in self-defense. The men were able to overpower her, threaten her, and restrict her freedom by means of a plastic zip-tie. One of the unknown assailants used the word Damion to refer to the other, and the term bro. While bro or bruh is a common vernacular in California, the use of the name becomes significant later. At 14:30, peace officers arrived to find both men gone, but various electronic items and valuables stolen from the house. Scene examination was conducted, and the zip-ties used to restrain Ms. Chaig were tested, finding positive fingerprints of a male and trace evidence of 2 males. These results did not find a match in the police code system. Of special note, as part of common assault, the victim was spat on by one of her assailants. This spittle was collected from the victim at Portofino Hospital. The evidence collection was captured on body cam footage. Members of the jury, let us put a pin in this for now, and allow me to explain the events of some days later. At approximately 16:30 on the 6th, duly authorized officers responded to an emergency call at 1206 Rio Vista Drive. During the call, the previous case of home invasion was referenced, case number 20,250,201-201, and the witness, Ms. Chaig, had positively identified one Damion Carter as one of her assailants during that crime.
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for speculation on whether it truly was a positive ID or not.
The witness considered it a positive identification, and I will explain further, Your Honor.
Your Honor, with all due respect, but the trial is meant for all of this to come out, but not in an opening statement. All of this is just meant to confuse the jurors instead of actually tell them what he wants to do, as is customary with an opening statement.
At approximately 16:30 on the 6th, duly authorized officers responded to an emergency call at 1206 Rio Vista Drive. During the call, the previous case of home invasion was referenced, case number 20,250,201-201, and the witness, Ms. Chaig, believed she had positively identified one Damion Carter as one of her assailants during that crime.
Objection again, Your Honor. Calls for speculation on whether or not it was a positive ID.
Mr. Blackwood, an effective opening statement should clearly introduce your case's theme, present key facts and evidence, and outline the anticipated testimony. That is all. Can you stick to that, please?
Thank you, Your Honor.
The state means to state that on the basis of both eyewitness statement and physical DNA that links both events, we are able to prove beyond reasonable doubt that Damion Carter is guilty of charge filed.
Thank you, Mr. Blackwood. Are you finished?
I conclude the statement, Your Honor.
Defense?
Your Honor, we move that everything prior to what Mr. Blackwood stated be so stricken from the record and disregarded.
Overruled. Keep in your mind the last statement that the prosecution brought before you. The state means to state that on the basis of both eyewitness statement and physical DNA that links both events, we are able to prove beyond reasonable doubt that Damion Carter is guilty of charge filed. Please keep your opening statement to the facts, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Distinguished members of the jury, thank you so much for being here today. While the law is definite, life is in shades of gray. What I will show you is the facts of this case. Fact 1. My client, Damion Carter, may not be a police officer or a firefighter or anything we would see as a stereotypical career man. My client is a simple man with simple tastes. What he isn't is a home invader. This is a simple case of mistaken identity and a police force that seems to have something against my client and his brother. I will show you that there was an entire 29 minutes missing from Deputy Chief McDonnell's body cam at the tragic break-in, where he could have done anything from convincing the witness and planting evidence to just ignoring what his actual job is. But my client is innocent, and if you'll listen to the facts and the testimony here today, you will see what really happened. Thank you.
Your Honor, I have to object. If we're sticking to facts, then it's speculation on what really happened.
Your Honor, I didn't happen to say what really happened, as I will do that as we present the case.
Sustained. If the defense is done, does the prosecution have witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. We would like to call the citizen of Portofino Freya Chegg to the stand.
Please stand and recite the oath. Do you, Miss Freya Chegg, swear that the testimony you are about to give in this arbitration is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Prosecution, you may begin.
Ms. Chegg, first of all, thank you for being here. Secondly, mistaken identity does happen. Do you have a job or a role that exemplifies your attention to detail or observation skills?
Yes, sir, I do.
So in your own words, can you please tell us the events as you observed them on the day in question?
Yes, sir, I came home the night of the intrusion, got dressed for bed and fell asleep, and was later woken up by creaking floorboards, and I began to stir. As I began to stir, I heard a voice telling me to go back to sleep, acting if they were a ghost and as if my house was haunted, and that is when I knew that there was an intruder in my home. I reached under my bed and grabbed my baseball bat that I use from protection and made my way out into my hallway, where I seen not one but two men standing there. As I walked closer towards them, one held out a wad of cash, offering it to me for my silence, and that is when I took my bat and swung it as hard as I possibly could, knocking the cash across the room. Tears would begin to fall from my face as I would go into further detail about the events, and that is when the one intruder grabbed my arms and shoved me against the wall, zip-tying my hands behind my back as I yelled at them, and that's when the other intruder stepped up and began hitting me in the face and took out a knife, where he then cut me across the cheek and he spat in my face. The one intruder said, "Damion bro, what are we going to do? Just leave her here." They both looked around one more time and took off, and that is when I went and found a piece of glass and cut off my zip-tees and called the cops.
Thank you. I am sorry to have to make you relive that, and I am sorry to have to ask further questions. But, in your statement you mentioned that they were wearing hoodies. Were you able to get a good look at their faces?
Yes, sir, I did. Two well makes, one with brown hair, one with black, both wearing black hoodies, one wearing blue jeans and one with black jeans. The man with black hair has a tattoo on his face and hands, and the man with brown hair had tattoos on his hands. They were both very muscular. I would say they each weighed about 200 pounds.
And did both of them speak? Were you able to identify the timbre of their voices?
Yes, sir, they did speak, but I did not recognize the voices as I had never heard them before. But if I were to hear them again, yes, I would be able to recognize them in a heartbeat.
I see. In the additional recorded witness statement in my office, you were able to identify the men from photos, and on the secondary event on the 6th you felt you identified the man in question out in public. Can you point out if that man is in the courtroom today?
Objection, Your Honor. He's leading the witness.
Your Honor, I am asking if the witness is able to identify her assailant.
Yes, sir, I actually see both men here in the courtroom here today. The first one is sitting right there at the table. The second one is sitting in the back row in the black tank top.
Then ask her if she can identify her assailant.
Yes, sir.
This man is in a suit. He looks like a member of society. He's not in a hoodie and doesn't appear to be a criminal. May I ask you if you're sure?
Objection, Your Honor. The ADA is assuming my client is a criminal with that statement.
Objection sustained.
I said he doesn't appear to be one, counsel. Your objection is spurious. Very well.
We would ask that his comments be so stricken from the record.
Mr. Blackwood, this is the court of law, not a court for animals. Keep your growling to yourself. Sustained.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Damn, girl. You sure you ain't moonlighting as a psychic? 'Cause last I checked, I was picking up takeout, not taking hostages. Careful with those fingers. Point too much and people might start thinking you're trying to rewrite history instead of testify, he mutters to himself.
I will rephrase the question. This man is in a suit, his hair is combed, he is not in a hoodie, the lighting is different. Are you sure this is the man you saw in your house that day?
Yes, I am sure it was him. I cannot forget the faces from that night even if I wanted to.
Order in the courtroom. Another word out of you and you will be removed.
Thank you. I would like to turn to one other matter before the defense gains cross. This man was the same one that left saliva on your face? After cutting you?
Yes, sir, it was.
As a final matter, the officer that took the swab from your cheek as DNA evidence, and secured it, could you tell if his body cam footage was on at the time? The red blinking light? It's perfectly okay if not.
Objection, Your Honor. It is not this witness's job to know whether an officer's gear is working.
Was the light blinking? It's perfectly okay if you don't recall.
Do you have a point with this?
Objection, Your Honor. Not all body cams have lights that blink.
Objection overruled, Mr. Blackwood. Do you have a point by asking her this question?
I am establishing chain of custody, Your Honor.
Your Honor, the victim should not be included in chain of custody as it's not the victim's job.
I agree with the defense.
Thank you, Your Honor.
She is not in the chain of custody. She is observing an event that can be used to, of course, Your Honor.
Stick to your point.
Very well, Ms. Chegg. A person who appeared to be an officer of the law, appeared to be the person that attended your 911 call, appeared to take a DNA swab of your cheek?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Thank you, Ms. Chegg. I have no further questions at this time.
Defense, will you be cross-examining the witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Hello, Miss Chegg. I see you are wearing glasses today. Are these prescription?
No, sir, they are not. These are just from the drugstore. They are fashion glasses.
I see. And do you happen to suffer from any allergies, Miss Chegg?
I do not.
Ah. Now you say the men who attacked you were wearing hoodies on themselves?
I did.
And Miss Chegg, how did you see their hair colors if their hoods were pulled up as you say in multiple statements that they were?
Sir, hair does, how you say, slip out from the hood during physical aggression.
I'm sorry, Miss Chegg, but that was not my question. I asked how you saw their hair if their hoods were up.
Sir, I was able to see the color of their hair as the movements they were making allowed the hood to shift on their heads.
Thank you, Miss Chegg, for that answer. Now you say you just woke up out of a dead sleep at the time?
Did the witness say that?
Your Honor, it's in multiple statements she has made to the police as well as to the Ada herself in a recording.
No, sir, I did not say I was dead asleep. I just said I was asleep at the time.
She has stated just now that she was awoken by creaking of her floorboards. Objection is sustained.
Yes, Your Honor. Miss Chegg, it is on record with 2 of your 4 statements to officials that you blanked out. Do you happen to remember how long the altercation with the 2 men took?
I would say roughly about 10-15 minutes.
And you did say here on the stand as well as on February 6th that you were spat on. Why did this not come up half of the time you were giving your statement to police officers? Did you forget it happened when you blanked out?
No, sir, he did indeed spit on my face.
I'm sorry again, Miss Chegg, I did not question whether or not he did spit on you. I asked you why you never mentioned this to police in your official statement. Please answer the question.
Sir, during my original statement I told the officer that my face was spat on. Yes, I may have forgot to mention it, as events from tragic events do tend to slip one's mind and come and go as one does try to forget the events that do happen during them.
Excuse me, Your Honor, if I may play the recording of Ms. Chegg's official statement?
Objection. Badgering the witness. She has already stated that she might not have mentioned it.
Actually, she just said she did mention it. When in the recording of her official statement to the police she did not.
Objection sustained.
Your Honor, may I play the recording of Ms. Chegg's official statement she made to police?
Relevance.
It goes to the witness's credibility, Your Honor.
What are you trying to say that the witness cannot, given it was directly after a traumatic event?
The statement in question was later on and not directly after.
Aloud. Defense, play the recording.
I was sleeping and I woke up to the sound of creaking floorboards in the house and a voice telling me to go back to sleep. I rushed and I grabbed my bat and made my way out into the hallway where 2 men were standing telling me to drop the bat. The one took out a WD of cash and tried coaxing me to put down the bat, but I tried to defend myself by taking a swing at his hand. After that it kind of all went blank from there. The man pushed me against the wall calling for his brother Damion. Next thing I know, my face was getting cut and I was being hit. They left and I found a shard of glass to cut off the zipties with.
Your Honor, I question defense definition of later on. This statement was 3 hours after said event.
According to our records, this statement also was given the next day in the exact same fashion, which is where I got mine from.
Defense, what are you trying to point out?
The credibility of the witness, Your Honor. If she can't remember whether or not she was spat on till it was convenient for her.
Objection. This is not a hostile witness. defense is speculating reasoning.
Your Honor, it is not a speculation when she has given statements many times and has changed them slightly every time.
Your Honor, the first